Alright, so I'm going to break down Will Ashcroft in his 2024 Nom Smith Medal performance for Brisbane this season. Of course, Nom Smith Medal, 30 disposals in the game, kicked a goal. Brisbane just dominated the game most of the day, really, and Will Ashcroft was a big reason why. So I'm going to start with his first clip, and it's a pretty long clip. Overall, it's got about 2 or 3 involvements for Ashcroft, but overall, I'm going to kind of show Ashcroft's ability to show up multiple times and get the footy. I think in this clip maybe he gets 2 or 3 disposals, but I reckon he's showing up about 6, 7, 8 times to actually give himself a chance. So I always think about getting to more contests means more disposals. At the same time, showing up more times is going to get you more disposals as well. So if you show up 30 or 40 times in a quarter, you might get it 10 times. If you show up 10 or 15 times in a quarter, you might get it 5 times, and that's the difference. As we know, if you get 10 a quarter, that's 40. If you get 5 a quarter, that's 20. So it's a big difference right there, and that's where the really elite ball winners actually are able to kind of separate themselves. So I want to kind of show here, that's Will Ashcroft there. The ball is there being kicked by this player. This player actually drops in front here and marks it. So I'm going to count this as kind of one offering because Ashcroft's kind of led up in this direction to try and hit up. As we know, a player's kind of sitting in front of him there, he's going to take that mark. So he's given himself one opportunity there to get the footy. That's another time. A little short hit up if this player wanted it. Of course, he sees something out here, so kicks there. And I like to see how quickly Ashcroft kind of moves on here. So he turns. So he's given himself 2 chances there, 0 possessions. You see him down the bottom of the screen offering an option for like a lateral handball. Doesn't get it. That's 3 times. Now this is him working in this direction to get front and square. Three times he's given himself a chance, really. Probably 4 if you call that a front and square one. Hasn't had a disposal yet. I love this part where he really pushes to run with Goulden here and actually pressures this footy. Ball in dispute now. This is his first disposal here. So he arrived onto the scene here. Clean hands. He's really good handballer, and I think that's what really impressed me in this game with how good his hands were. He's able to pick the ball up, make really quick decision, and use both hands really well. Pick up. So 5 times he's given himself the opportunity to get a footy, and he's got it once. Now, he gave the handball to Hipwood, who then fed back to Archie here, as you can see. That Ashcroft's actually bolted forward in this direction here, and you'll see him come back into the screen in a moment. So Andros kind of comes around for this handball receive. And here's Ashcroft here, getting this footy. So 6 times he's shown up now. This is his second disposal. I really like this quick decision. McCluggage on inside. Short 45 he uses. And then goes and gets it back. So this is 7 times he's given himself a chance. His third disposal. So he's a free ahead of the footy in McCluggage and is able to give that. So it's multiple times showing up. Sure, he only gets the ball 3 times, but his ability to keep showing up and giving himself more and more chances is amazing. This is the second clip. So we see Ashcroft here. Lachie Neale is here. So I want to kind of talk about clearances as a whole. So this ends up being a clearance for Ashcroft, and the ball is definitely not hit to him, but it's his ability to kind of follow up and be that third man on the scene, which is really impressive. So I think everyone kind of thinks as a footballer, to win clearances, you've got to kind of be the go-to, and the ruckman hits it straight down your throat, and then you're able to get rid of it. It's actually not always the case, and quite often it's not actually. I'd say it's very kind of hard in most situations to get a really clear ball from a clearance or a stoppage. And so in this situation, Will Ashcroft's able to kind of follow up. Neale and Rowbottom kind of have a bit of a contest, and as you'll see in a moment, Ashcroft has, I think that's McInerney there, and then Neale has Rowbottom. So they have a bit of a scrap. Ball's going to hit out in that direction. I want you to track Ashcroft now. So that's Ashcroft and that's McInerney. So McInerney's kind of giving him time and space here. Neale and now Goulden's coming onto the scene to try and help out. Again, track Ashcroft coming over to help. Neale isn't able to get that footy, but you can't see McInerney anymore, but he's somewhere up here. You see the separation he's been able to get. And he's the third player on the scene, and he's able to pick that ball up, get the ball forward, get an inside 50 for Brisbane, and then they can take a mark. Alright, so this is another clip that I wanted to break down, and this is I'm breaking it down for Ashcroft as an individual player, but I'm also breaking it down for Brisbane, and then also Sydney's poor defence. And then at the end, I mean, Ashcroft plays this really well, but there's a way that he could have played this a little bit better. So Ashcroft is there. Lohmann. Neale's gone front and square. And Bailey there. Now I'm going to point to Sydney players. So there's Grundy. Rowbottom. Warner. And then there's kind of a one-on-one here. And this is another 1-1 down here, which Goulden, I believe, kicked the ball down the line, and I think that might be Charlie Cameron who was on the mark. So overall, Brisbane have kind of a +1, I guess, overall, if you think about it. Rowbottom, clear all that. Rowbottom's going to work up front and square. Neale's going to work up front and square. Warner kind of has to press to Neale a little bit here. And then Bailey kind of presses a little bit and holds out, which leaves a really, really tough decision for Grundy here, who really has 1, 2, 3 guys to guard, which just isn't a really good look for Sydney. And play this out a little bit. So Brisbane are actually able to win the contest. This is Ashcroft coming into screen here, holding his width. Brisbane are able to get their hands away and clear it. So now Grundy's kind of made that decision. He's made it late, but he has to press to Ashcroft. And if you think about those players who were out before, so Rowbottom's had to come into the contest to try and even numbers up. Warner and Neale, I believe, end up coming in further down this direction. So then, once they pan out, Ashcroft, unfortunately, doesn't take the time to look. But now, if we have a look here, Warner and Neale, you saw that one. There's another one-on-one. I believe this might be Goulden maybe back there, I'm not sure. One-on-one, one-on-one. This is a free Sydney player. Another one-on-one over here. I'm going to remove all this. And we have a look at there's a free Brisbane player right there, which was Lohmann. The ball ends up going deep and Brisbane give themselves an opportunity, but it would have been great if Ashcroft was able to just kind of lower his eyes a little bit there. Gonna let this one play out a little bit. Ashcroft in the screen just here. Just following the play. It's a really similar clip to earlier. Not always going to have guys who are clean. He continues to follow and he ends up being that loose man on the scene eventually. Right there, his hands are clean and he gives. Alright. Go back slightly here. So, Ashcroft is there. And obviously, ball's kind of going forward. And in this direction, this is kind of going Sydney's way. So Zorko is able to kind of intercept in this position. Able to feed back. You see Brisbane's numbers. They're really everywhere. It's going to be really tough for Sydney to defend. Ashcroft will still be in this direction, probably by himself at this point still. Sarsfield is able to kick long. So that is Ashcroft there. Ball actually goes over his head. But you can see one front and square. Didn't give himself an opportunity, didn't get it. Now he's able to kind of get past that contest, knowing that Dunkley's there. Ashcroft's able to kind of get out and get himself space. And this is where I was really impressed with him, is handballing ability, that quick give when you're getting pressed. Florent just a little bit late on that, but then you give and you figure out, all right, how can I get back involved? And so he's able to actually dodge Florent, work himself forward back into the contest, as you see there. Hipwood pretty clever with that tap, and look at the space he's now got. Florent's all the way back here, and now he's working the ball on his shoulders out, kicking the ball inside 50. He's able to find a short option there. This is a stoppage one. You can see the game's pretty much almost over at this point, but this is probably really inexcusable, mostly by Goulden for Sydney, who's the star player of the competition, but you've got to be able to defend at a boundary throw-in. So this is Ashcroft and Goulden here. Sydney have their spare signatures here. Everyone else really should be one-on-one, which it looks like everyone else is. I can't see any other spare players really at this point. But it's just too easy for Ashcroft to get a metre here. So if you watch it slowly, it's still pretty tight. Goulden's done a pretty good job to this point. Then they kind of go out of screen here. Might be a bit of a block there from Lohmann, but you can see the space suddenly Ashcroft's got from Sydney players. And this is his goal from the day. And that's a snap goal. There's a centre bounce one here. I want to talk about his ability to receive. So Ashcroft here. Neil wins his footy. I want to talk about Ashcroft's ability to will be that third guy, as he's been multiple times in this already, being able to get himself out, turn, find handballs forward, and then look at his ability to continue to spread on, get forward of the footy just through work rate. He's able to get a second involvement there and get the ball deeper for the Lions. There's been a lot of change in this game where he's had the ball multiple times. And this is kind of the last clip here, as we see, game over, really. Just kind of his ability to work through and find a bit more space out wide. So that is Ashcroft just here. Ball goes in deep for Sydney. Ideally, he's probably getting up to defend these players, or one of the two at least. But he doesn't. But then his work rate, once he sees Berry intercept, to actually find a way to get over, get out. So he's offering there. He doesn't get it. The kick goes here. And then Ashcroft thinks, all right, what can I do next? Where's my next involvement? So he actually ends up really spreading hard over here. This is a really good amount of space to head into. There's no one covering. That's the closest guy to him, really. And he's probably got 30 metres on him, so it just makes it an easy kick for his teammate, Wilmot, and Ashcroft marks. So, to sum it up, pretty good performance. Multiple possessions in multiple chains. Works up and down the middle of the ground really well. Really good inside and outside, but I think his ability to really be clean with his hands, make really quick decisions via handball, I think that's probably the reason why at 20 years old he's able to go in and win a Norm Smith medal, because you got to be quick, especially grand final day. You got to be quick, you got to be clean, and yeah, it just exemplifies that, his ability to play that well on a big day. Yeah, 20 years old, he's going to be a very, very good player for the Lions, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in action with his brother over the next year or so. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed something from the video and learned something, and yeah, we'll see you next time.